beautiful people around the world. Thank you so much for joining a Real Chick video. It's your favorite designer and sisters from Detroit. If you don't know about me, go ahead over to IG and ask about me, because they'll tell you the fuck. All information in the description box below, as well as my custom order form to book your girl for all your custom apparel needs. Now, let's quit all this gapping and get into the video. Alright, y'all, I'm about to give y'all 5 tips to start your sewing journey. I already told you, if you don't know about me, go to Instagram and ask about me. But I'm going to tell y'all about me real briefly right now. I started making clothes in 2020. I was just making them for myself. And then by 2023, I was making clothes for women around the world. Yeah. So number 1, analyze the clothes that you have in your closet. Like, just look at them, look at the techniques that they use. I highly recommend this for jeans if you want to get into making jeans, because you'll see how they top stitch it. You'll see how they sew everything together, like what they sewed to what to make it look like what, you know. That's an equation. A plus B equals C, y'all. Just analyze the clothes that y'all have, and by doing this, it'll allow you to set a standard for what your clothes should look like. Because rule number 1, a major rule in fashion, in making clothes, the inside of your garment gotta look just as good as the outside, okay? And I know when you first starting out, it ain't gonna look as good, but it's always good to have a standard to work toward. While we're talking about clothes that you have in your closet, if you have anything that you ain't really sweating on, like you like how it fit, but you know you ain't gonna wear it no time soon, take that garment, cut it, and make pattern pieces out of it, and then use that to sew new versions of that. No, I'm just kidding. What I would do was, after I cut my old clothes to make the patterns, I would trace them onto pattern paper so that I will always have the pattern, because you know it fit good, you know you like the fit, so just make the pattern. And then also, by doing this, you can try to start making other sizes from that pattern. But honestly, y'all, that is a skill. This is just a good, easy way to start making clothes for yourself and people with similar body types as you. And to add on to that, when you get the garment cut out, look at the curves and how it's cut out. Like, analyze everything, y'all. If you're not going to fashion school, the best way to learn how to make clothes is by looking at the clothes that you already have around you. If you are trying to making clothes your career, this is a major step for you, and you cannot skip it. The step is learning pattern making. Yes, you can cut patterns out of your old clothes. And yes, you can buy patterns from Joann's, even though they said they finna close Joann's, y'all. They did. They closed Joann's. They is. But my personal favorite. Okay, I'm getting off topic. My personal favorite place to get patterns from, PDF patterns, ones where you can print them at home. I print mine at the library though, and then you just cut them out and tape them together. Is from Etsy. Made by Karen M is the pattern that I'm using right now, y'all, and it's the pattern that I used in my first sewing tutorial. Absolutely bomb patterns on Etsy. But back to what we was talking about. If you want to be making clothes for other people, it's very, very, very important that you learn how to make your own patterns using measurements. Because you can't be no designer and not know how to make a pattern out some measurements. If you can't think it, draw it, then make it, you ain't no designer. Sorry. If you was a true designer, everything that you envision and you gotta make, they not gonna have a pattern for it. And that's why you gotta learn how to make patterns. But also, with pattern making, if you have a pattern, because like I altered up this pattern that I'm using right now to make this corset. I altered it to like what I wanted to look like. So you can get a pattern, but it's really important to learn pattern making, because that's how you're gonna be able to alter a pattern to like get different type of designs and different looks from that basic pattern. Yes, while we're talking about basic patterns, bodice block. Bodice block, bodice block, bodice block. If you're trying to make this a career, you got to learn how to do a bodice block. The bodice block is the beginning of everything. If you don't know how to do that, baby, you're going to struggle on doing a lot, okay? Tip number, what am I on, 4, 5? I for sure ain't on 5. Tip number 3, while we talking about basic things, sewing is one of them skills where You got to learn the fundamentals first, and you have to build on top of everything. I know you trying to get into fashion design and you got all these crazy ideas, these crazy cool ideas, and you just ready to hit your sewing machine and get them done. But if you got to know the basics, okay, because you're going to find that you're not going to know where to start. With them crazy cool designs, you're not going to know where to start. You're going to get overwhelmed. You're going to be wasting a lot of material, a lot of time, because you're going to keep making prototype after prototype after prototype because you don't know what you're doing. You have to start small, y'all. My number one small projects that I think absolutely help are like pillowcases. You can even try to make a purse. I started sewing at 9, and I was making purses out of old jeans, y'all. Like, little simple stuff like that can teach you so many like techniques. Like, it could teach you how to just sew straight, just sew in a straight line, because it takes practice, or it really do. And it can just, you can practice like your straight stitch, stretch stitch, like your zigzag stitches and all that. Like, I recommend starting with small parts like that, and then you can start working yourself up to a shirt. You can start working yourself up to some leggings. Then you can start working yourself up to a dress. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if you don't even know how to sew a shirt, if you can't even sew a good shirt, baby, is no way you finna sew a dress. Well, sewing a dress is pretty easy. So if you can't sew a shirt or a dress, you can't sew some couture. That's what I'm saying. You can't start sewing couture until you learn basic. While we talking about prototypes, everything, you have to make a prototype first, y'all. I promise you have to. When I first started sewing, it was like, I don't know, I thought I am the coldest. I am the coldest to ever do it. But I really just feel like I was the coldest to ever do it. So I'm like, nah, I can get this first try, and we're going to be good, and it's going to be excellent, and now I'm going to be ready to wear it and all that. Like, no, Bookie Bear, you have to make a prototype. Good fabrics, and I just learned this myself. Best fabrics for prototypes is muslin. Cheap. Always cheap fabric, though. Always cheap fabric. You don't want to be wasting your good fabric, and then you got to make some alterations to the pattern so that it can fit better. Because 9 times out of 10, I promise you, you're going to have to practice it first before you get it perfect. Just get that in your head now. Just get it in your head now, please. And don't get frustrated by it. Embrace it. And understand that it is just part of the process. You have to do it, or you gonna hoe yourself. I'm telling you, like, you could try to skip the prototype stage if you want, but you're going to find yourself wasting a lot of money and wasting a lot of fabric. It's also really important to invest in a good sewing machine, especially as your skill level increases. I know I started off with the Fashion Made. Well, I actually started off with this old sewing machine that my mama had, and that sewing machine frustrated me so bad because it was half broke, half working. I don't know, y'all. Just make sure you get a good sewing machine that work. Save yourself the anger, please. Okay? And then when you get a good sewing machine, you gotta take care of it. I probably will do a video on how to care for your machine, because I learned these tips when I first got the machine that I'm using right now, and she's still rolling with me, and I think we about 5 years deep. So yes, you gotta oil your machine. You gotta cut your thread out your machine a proper way to prevent dust from going all up in your machine. You gotta cover your machine every night to prevent dust from messing up the gears, y'all. And then another thing, once you get your good machine, you gotta learn your machine as well as learn the notions for your machine. There are different needle types. It is different sizes. If you're using the wrong size while sewing, your needle is going to keep breaking, and you're going to want to throw your sewing machine out the window. Learn. Just please learn, okay? Another thing, thread can expire. If you're sewing and your thread keep breaking and you getting angry and you about to punch your sewing machine, I don't know if I got anger issues or if this is everybody, but I'll be finna throw my sewing machine out the window. But thread does expire, y'all. If it snaps too easily, throw it away. There are also different presser foots, and I learned this one kind of late in the game. Then when I learned it, I feel like I was kind of intimidated, so I wasn't using them. But now that I'm really in the fashion industry and I really make clothes for people, I use them all the time. It is different presser foots, and you got to look up on that. And a lot of the times they give you different presser foots with your machine, but you can also purchase more of them. So like you got a zipper foot, you got an invisible zipper foot, you have an overlocking foot. Overlocking foot is really good if you don't have a serger. Yeah, see, so notice how there's no fucking thread in the fucking bobbin. There's no thread in the bobbin. See, and that's the prime example. Like, I don't know if I'm the problem, if I'm the crash dummy, or no. The sewing machine be pissing me off, and that's why I get mad. You feel me? I get mad for a reason. But back to what I was saying. The overlocking foot is good if you don't have a serger. It allows you to finish your ends and get them real nice and clean and prevents them from fraying. That is my #1 go-to that I've been using right now like crazy. But yes, y'all, it is just, if you watching this video, you off to a good start. YouTube and Google is your friend. Use them as such, okay? And honestly, fashion school is really for networking. If you don't want to go to school for fashion, you can for sure teach yourself and be very successful. Clock that. Thank y'all for making this into this video. If you didn't like and comment and subscribe on your way in, go ahead and do that on your way out, please and thank you. Love you. Liking and commenting helps me. It helps boost my videos. I want to be a YouTuber, y'all. I mean, I am a YouTuber. You are what you do, and I do YouTube. But I want to be a non-YouTuber, so get me there, y'all. And you gotta subscribe, because if you don't subscribe, you lame. That's a shame. You can't hang with us, huh? Peace.